How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like finishing your laundry and successfully matching all your daughter's baby socks together on the first try.
Let's see. Panda socks, fire truck socks, socks with those cute little strawberries on them.
You matched each and every one of those tiny socks. I mean, has this ever happened in the history of laundry?
And a penguin wearing a cowboy hat socks. Done.
Enjoy the moment, Dad. You've earned it. Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So, while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Love for these Minnesota Vikings. Welcome to 9 to noon on a Talker Tuesday from the Minnesota Vikings facility in Eagan. 9 to noon with yours truly, Paul Allen, producer Nordo with yours truly, and Maxwell Fuller guides the great ship Love Covenant at FM 100.3 KFAN. The Vikings beat the Bears last evening on a winter whiteout Monday Night Football extravaganza. And it was one of those tilts. We kind of knew the Vikings weren't going to lose pretty much after they took a 10-0 lead. Some would say after they took a 3-0 lead, the team was home and cooled out. The final was 30-12, which means 7 in a row, 4 KO, 7 in a row, 4 KO, 7 in a row, 4 B flow, 7 in a row, 4 B flow, and 7 in a row, 4 Sir Poe, 7 in a row, 4 Sir Poe. I mean, what's the interim? Thomas Brown for the Chicago Bears. I mean, what's the interim doing on the first possession of the game on 4th down at the minus 39? So his team's backed up to their own 39. First fight the interim opts to pick was against the NFL's number 1 ranked 4th down defense. And Valor lost again to discretion.
4th and 1 from the Bears 39. Scoreless first possession of Monday Night Football. Caleb Williams under center. DeAndre Swift the tailback. They're going to go for it. Toss left to Swift. He looks to grind for the first down. He did not get it. A host of Minnesota Vikings, like a white blur, stopped him shy of the sticks. And the Vikings are going to have the ball in Bears territory.
Jalen Redmond, in his first full year from Oklahoma, my man didn't start playing football until his junior year in high school. Went to Oklahoma, went undrafted to the Carolina Panthers, got cut, picked up by the Minnesota Vikings, and safe to say he's not going to hit the practice squad anytime soon. He didn't make the tackle, but he made the play when you watch it back. And The man who unearthed Jalen Redmond, along with his staff, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, will join us today at 11 o'clock for the recording of X's and O's on the vast and ever-expanding KFAN Minnesota Vikings radio network after that turnover on downs. The team didn't do much with it, but the kicker, Will Reichard, snapped back to life after a rare miss last game.
Reichard with a 52-yard try. He's 4 of 5 this year from 50-plus. Snap, spot to the west side of U.S. Bank Stadium. The kick is up, and the kick is good.
It's all good when the Alabama kid starts making his kicks, and the Minnesota Vikings jumped up 3-0, and the, at times, lifeless and listless Chicago Bears seemed to be reeling a bit after missing it on fourth down, and then giving up 3 points, and they never would tie the game or grab a lead the rest of the journey, especially after Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, schemed Justin Jefferson on Terrell Smith. And the former Gopher was quite overmatched.
3-0 Vikings, first quarter, 5:10 to go, first and goal. Darnold, straight drop, off play action to the end zone, and touchdown! Justin Jefferson with a 7-yard touchdown from Sam Darnold, and the Vikings have a 9-0 lead.
Hey, Sam, the man on the fan. Number 29 for Sam Darnold. 29 touchdown passes from Sam Darnold, and that's number 8 for Justin Jefferson. 29 for Sam in his first season wearing the colors. That means he is 5 touchdown passes with 3 games to go from passing Brett Favre for the most passing touchdowns all time as a Minnesota Vikings first-time starter. Chains with 30. He's passable. Maybe next game against the Seattle Seahawks. And Brett Favre, 2009, that memorable season, those 33 passing touchdowns, the most by a Minnesota Viking in the history of the team in their very first year. Sam, the man on the fan, with 29 and 3 to go to catch football immortality. Sam was cool. He was all right. Went 152 consecutive passes without an interception until the cane got him. Tyreek Stevenson, who obviously didn't watch the Minneapolis Miracle game because my man opted to run into the end zone and mock the Skull Champ. Those mocking the Skull Champ are 0 for 2 at U.S. Bank Stadium. Maybe the second-year Kane will learn from the anti-Vikes mistake after the 2017 season. The Vikings, and specifically Sam Darnold, targeted Justin Jefferson 13 times. JJ, 13 targets. Sam hit 7 different guys. And when the Lions played zone, he knew it was coming and abused it with TJ Hawkinson. And the way the balance of the game went with the game flow, the Bears would play man-to-man defense, and the Vikings would run rather effectively. Then they would play some zone, and they would find T.J. Hawkinson, who was quite the basketball player, from what you'll hear in these drive-bys coming up a little later. And he used his rebounding skills to box out linebackers and safeties to make some key catches approaching halftime. Now for Sam, Sam was all right. That yards per attempt of 5.7, that could be a tad better, but he got the money. Into the game, Sam Darnold's yards per attempt, a very key stat for quarterbacks, was 8.5, and that was third best in the National Football League behind Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff, two who are widely considered to be MVP candidates, along with Josh Allen, who's probably going to run away with the award. 8.5 on the yards per attempt, down to a 5.7. Yeah, it's all right. Minnesota Vikings got the money, though, and move on to the Cappuccino Capital next week. Sam also completed one of more than 20 yards. It went 21 yards to Jefferson. Just one of those, which means Sam, the man on the fan, has 53 completions this year of at least 20 yards. That is number one in the National Football League. Drive-bys, the scribe, the analyst, and the general manager all coming up during a celebratory 9 to noon today from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, and the radio shows provided by Sukup and Sukup.com. How about this? With this take, it's the strip sack.
This is 3rd and 9 from the Vikings 29. Caleb shotgun, 3 receivers right, 1 left. Minnesota blitzes. Oh, Caleb sack! It's a strip sack, and it's picked up by Blake Cashman. Cash money gets down to the 39-yard line of the Chicago Bears. I believe Grenard started it. Cashman picked it up, and the Vikings have turned over Chicago.
Grenard and Cashman coming up shortly with the hyperactive locker room drive-bys. But the Minnesota Vikings have takes. They've taken the ball from the adversary all 14 games this year. The last Minnesota Vikings team to do that 41 years ago in 1983. So you see what we're talking about here. Quarterback, number 1 in the National Football League with completions 20 yards or more. Quarterback for 5 touchdowns from passing Hall of Famer Brett Favre for the most passing touchdowns in a season by a first-time starter, and takes in the season of giving. Taking is very pivotal for the Minnesota Vikings, and to have a take in 14 consecutive games, first time the team has done that in more than 4 decades. And while the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's just the ways and means become rearranged. The bottom line, they keep stacking W's.
The Minnesota Vikings have won 7 consecutive games. The final score 30-12, and your Minnesota Vikings have improved to 12-2.
Let's start the locker room drive-bys with cornerback Byron Murphy Jr. Former Vikings cornerback Patrick Peterson stopped by the Vox Box last night and called the third quarter with Ben Lieber, Pete Bursich, and yours truly. And I shared with Byron that Patrick had some really nice things to say about his former teammate, and here's what Byron said.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, when they're playing zone and Sam, gives you a chance, you got to make those plays. So it was a lot of fun for sure.
You guys win, and you've won 7 in a row. What were your thoughts on tonight's game? I know you haven't watched the film back yet. You got the money. That's really all that matters, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got to win. It's huge. Obviously, there's a lot to clean up on offense. I mean, some pre-snap stuff, some post-snap stuff. So just some stuff to clean up. And
3-2. It is a short sleep Tuesday, courtesy of Sukup and Sukup.com. 3-2. The drive-bys took place from a celebratory and victorious Minnesota Vikings locker room. And like I said, we began with T.J. Hawkinson, a fantastic high school basketball player, as we mentioned earlier, with the boxing out skills nearing halftime to secure some very, very key receptions. And we started talking with TJ about basketball ability and how he's able to exploit zone defense.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, when they're playing zone and Sam, gives you a chance, you got to make those plays. So it was a lot of fun for sure.
You guys win, and you've won 7 in a row. What were your thoughts on tonight's game? I know you haven't watched the film back yet. You got the money. That's really all that matters, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got to win. It's huge. Obviously, there's a lot to clean up on offense. I mean, some pre-snap stuff, some post-snap stuff. So just some stuff to clean up, and we'll move forward. We'll watch the tape, and we got a short week, so move on quick.
Last one, and thanks for the time. How long have you been completely at full speed? Because I mean, those injuries last year took you a little while to get back. Not saying you weren't full speed completely when you got back, but like the quick twitch and the catch and the run after catch, it seems like it's absolutely on point, like before you got hurt. Is that fair?
Yeah, the last few weeks, when I get the ball in my hands, I'm just trying to make a play and get vertical, make somebody miss and continue to move the sticks. So it's been a lot of fun the last few weeks, and we'll keep it rolling.
Great job, my man. TJ's career long, by the way, took place against the Seattle Seahawks when he played for the Detroit Lions right before the Vikings acquired him, and Seattle next game. Thank you very much for the time.
Appreciate you.
TJ Hawkinson, tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, to begin the drive-bys from a victorious locker room where the Minnesota Vikings defeated the Chicago Bears by 18 points. The Minnesota Vikings have won 7 consecutive games and have improved to 12-2. Here's cash money with that fumble recovery off the Jonathan Grenard strip sack. How'd the game go for you tonight?
I thought it, was pretty clean. I thought we executed our game plan very well, especially on third down. The guys up front did a hell of a job getting pressure on 18. We'd like to get him down a little bit sooner, not let him run around so much, but they came out to play, and it was well a good game.
And 18 would be Caleb Williams, the USC rookie. What do you think of his overall game? Because he came into it 255 consecutive without a pick. And, outside of playing you guys, I haven't watched a lot of him. I'm like, all right, probably a lot of checkdowns, a lot of short stuff. But he takes chances, and he has a very nice arm. He's pretty good, isn't he?
I think he's very good. I think he's going to be a very special player in this league. I got a lot of respect for him. Honestly, the first time we played him, I wasn't sure what to expect. And after that game, I was like, this guy's going to be a dude, and he's going to be a dude in this league for a long time. He's only going to get better. He's going to be a problem in the NFC North.
Is this last one from the Jets or the Texans to now? I think I know the answer to the question, but I just want to hear you explain it. Is this absolutely the most fun that you've had in your brief NFL career?
Yeah, and I say that with a big smile on my face. Love the guys in this locker room. We play and prepare with so much joy, and obviously winning helps. But everything comes down to the people you surround yourself with and you work with, and every day it just reassures me that I made a great decision to come here.
And everybody's happy that you're here. Eden Prairie, go crazy! Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Blake Cashman, inside linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings, and let's roll on over here to Byron Murphy Jr. Love doing drive-bys with Byron Murphy Jr. And here's why. Your former teammate Patrick Peterson was at the game.
Yes, sir.
And he came up to the announcer's booth, sat in there with us for like a quarter. So we're like, hey, this is football immortality. You got to join the call. So, I mentioned you and the 6 interceptions and everything. And man, Patrick has a high opinion of your game, specifically your tackling and everything. What was it like playing with him?
When I came in the league, that was our guy, that was our vet in the room. I just took a lot of, information from him. Obviously, he taught me a lot. Came in this league with him, blessed for him to be my teammate at that time. So like I just said, he taught me a lot of things. Kind of slowed the game down for me. To this day, my brother, love that guy. That's my dog. And I just feel his energy before the game when we was talking. Just love the energy he was bringing. And obviously, I can't wait to go meet up with him again. You
didn't have an interception this game. Weird. You have 6 on the season. You guys won by 18. So, you won 7 in a row also. So that's the bottom line. But dare we say that they were looking different directions than than at number 7?
Definitely could say that. I feel like their game plan this game was, throw a lot of screens. But I wish, the down the field throws were coming to me. But that kind of comes with it when you got 6 picks. Probably not looking away, but I still want to go make that play. So I'm still trying to find a way. But that's for other guys to go eat when they come at them. So it all comes together.
Last one for Byron Murphy Jr. Vikings have won 7 in a row. Keenan Allen, he's football immortality. Hey, this is like his 7th game against the Vikings. He always has big games against this team. Shoot, he threw for a touchdown last year when he was with the Chargers to Mike Williams on that gotcha play. I would imagine you have a high level of respect for somebody like Keenan who stays in the league this long, and he still has some pop to his game.
Oh, definitely respect, mad respect. Definitely think he's one of the best in this game. Obviously, when I go against him, but that's the time for me to work. Definitely, obviously, going to get someone like that, you got to be prepared, you got to be ready, and all those things, aspects, everything, because he's coming to play. He's a savvy vet. He's been doing it for a long time at a high level. He's still doing it at a high level. So that's another savvy vet, like I said, and one of the best in his league. So it's definitely respect. But when I got my chance to go up there, I'm going to try to go win that rep.
Last one, I promise. 12-2 on the road for the first time in a month at Seattle. It's nut cutting time right now, man. 12-2. The Lions got killed by Buffalo. Green Bay beat Seattle to help you guys get into the playoffs. Detroit with all these injuries. Holy cow. We'll worry about them in early January. But on a short week like this with travel and long travel, physically, mentally? Do you guys do anything differently to stay fresh?
I'll say the biggest thing is come in, same mindset. It's a short week, but you got to get your body ready. You got to go in there, get more treatment. Obviously, we probably get, taken off the field a little bit better, so you got to go out there, treat your body right, watch more film, and all those things. But, it's a short week. You just got to go out there and do the same thing.
How about that? KO pulls the ones with 6.5 minutes to go in the game to keep you guys fresh. That was cool.
That definitely was. But, sometimes when you're in a league like that, that's what happens. But you got younger guys that's ready to step up, and the next man up. And they went out there, did their job, and that just shows, our defense is ready for, the next man up. Anybody can play.
Byron, I promise, the next time I say last one for Byron Murphy Jr., it'll be the last one. But I really enjoyed chatting with you. Thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Byron Murphy Jr., cornerback for the Minnesota Vikings, part of a defense that played extremely well. And the Bears didn't get a touchdown until near the end of the game. It was a 30-12 victory. And here's Jonathan Grenard for a quick little drive-by. What's going on, Jonathan? Congratulations on the victory, strip sack and everything. Blake Cashman picks it up for you. Now, Braxton Jones with that concussion was a late scratch. In comes the Yale rookie. And a lot of people are, you're right, third round from Yale. A lot of people are going to be like, okay, well, that, it probably is a downgrade. But, like, playing against somebody like that, I would imagine that you have to look at that player like, shoot, this might be an all-pro, and I don't want a guy making his first start to, like, shut me down, right?
For sure. That's exactly the mindset, because if he would have came out there and blocked me, then I'd have been the worst DN ever. So at the same time, I just pretty much treat everybody as if they're the best tackle in the league, and I'm not going to let up and give you that type of benefit of the doubt, because you're not going to have me on your tape as a guy that, I played against this guy and I hemmed him up. Nah, it ain't going to be that.
All right, last one here because everybody's in a hurry on Monday Night Football. Throughout your career, this team's 12-2. It's won 7 in a row. But just the, culture is such an overused, trite word sometimes in business and sports and everything. It's not here. Right. I mean, this is a tightly knit group, and that includes Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and his guys, O'Connell and all of his guys. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's just a great job and testament for them to put this team together with the right guys that are pretty much all want to win, and we have the same common goal. And I think that's the main thing that keeps being a driving force for us, is that we don't really care about the wins. We care about the accolades. We're just trying to get 1-0 every week, so that way we can control our destiny and get to where we want in that championship.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
Always, my guy.
Jonathan Grenard, 58, outside linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings. And he had that strip sack early in the game that got the crowd into the game. And Blake Cashman recovered it. And your Minnesota Vikings were on their way to their 7th consecutive victory. And let's conclude the drive-bys over here, because 50. What's going on, Aaron?
How you doing?
Showtime got into the end zone. 50 was the operative number tonight for the running backs. Aaron scored his 50th rushing touchdown in a game. Cam Akers also had a touchdown playing in his 50th game. You guys ran the ball well tonight. That was key.
Yes, sir. The big guys up front did their thing. The tight ends and receivers, all the blocking unit, just CJ as well, allowing us to just be able to run, get into gaps, and then find the holes. They were getting a lot of push up front, so that makes it easy on the back.
A veteran like you, with all that speed and a short week, long travel to Seattle, like mentally and physically, do you do anything different in a week like this? I mean, it's super deep in the season, too, man. You're 12-2. Everything's super important, too. What do you do to keep yourself fresh?
Just sit in the tubs a little bit longer, hit them a little bit more often, try to just get that body back. And that's about it. Go about it the same way. Whenever it's time to play, I'm ready.
Last one. When you dropped the ball, we heard, or somehow it got out that, like your mom called you and was like, Aaron, don't do this, Aaron, that. We never hear the other side of the story. So, now you haven't fumbled and you've scored. What's mom say after those situations?
She's very happy. I actually give my mom all of my touchdown balls, so this will be 50. So she's proud of me. I know even in those bad games, she's still proud of me. But she's gonna be happy about this one. Came out and left it all out there, which I do every week, but it just was in our favor.
You're fantastic. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. Good
to talk to you. Good to talk to you too, Mr. Showtime. That is 50 rushing touchdowns for Aaron. The operative number is 50. I got to come over to Cam Akers. Well, because Aaron had his 50th rushing touchdown. You had a rushing touchdown in the 50th game of your career. That's pretty cool. And man, you guys, when you guys run the ball like that, I mean, it wasn't like 200-300 yards or anything, but you ran it so efficiently. How important is that to your offense?
It's the most important thing, getting the run game going opens up everything else, and I think you've seen the past few weeks as we've gotten going. Not saying that we haven't been going, but we've been going the last few weeks, and everything's been rolling through the offense. Through the run game.
Cam, last one, because I know everybody wants to get out of here for Monday Night Football. How would you describe your running style? And I have a reason for asking.
All purpose. Yeah.
Well, what I'm talking about is like Aaron gets it like lickety-split, and you're fast too, but it's not exactly Le'Veon Bell-esque, but you kind of slow roll it up to the line of scrimmage. Your vision, man, is really good.
Appreciate it. Just being patient. You got to be patient as a runner. I would say I learned a lot of that from Aaron. Through his journey, through his time in the league. It's been a guy that I've watched. You know what I mean? I've watched him try to take notes and tips and from his game, and I think that's something that I've been able to take from his game. Patience and hitting it when you see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's great having you back here, and I know you had to leave for a little bit, but just in closing, I'm never going to forget that block that you put on that Atlanta Falcon head down in Georgia last year when Josh Dobbs got in. I mean, that had to be one of the most violent hits you've ever put on a player in your career, right?
In the league, at least. Yeah, in the league, at least. So I'm trying to get more of them. Trying to get more.
Good seeing you. Congratulations.
Thank you. You too.
Cam Akers playing his 50th game, and he had a rushing touchdown. Let's close the drive-bys by rolling over here. Ain't looking for any company secrets or anything, but 75, Brian O'Neill's out, and then he's back in, then he's out, then he's back in. How you feeling? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. We'll be good. Double check in the morning, but being able to go out there and finish the game makes you feel pretty confident that everything's okay.
Brian O'Neill, right tackle, tough guy. In a game like this against the Bears, like right before the snap, like say they're just going to rush four guys, they jump around like right before the snap. Is that unconventional, or is that just like the way they play? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they do a lot of movement. We also knew coming into the game, even post snap, we were going to see a lot more movement rather than just playing it straight. And as long as we didn't let the movement slow us down, we knew when teams move like that, there's going to be some room to make holes. And I think there was tonight.
Last one. Do you prefer run blocking or pass protecting? And I have a reason for asking.
Run blocking.
Is that generally the case with offensive linemen?
Yeah, for sure. You're going forward, not backwards.
Okay, I understand that, but you're good at catching these players, too, is what I'm talking about, doing that moonwalk. However, it's not like the team ran for 200, 250 or anything, but when you guys run the way you ran tonight, and generally speaking, I think you're 10-0 or 11-0 this year when you outrush the other team. But nevertheless, this running game is fresh, nearing the end of the season. How important is it to what you guys do?
Oh, it's huge. There's the old saying, you throw to score and you run to win. I think you saw that last week on our last game winning, or the last drive to really put it away. It was mostly runs tonight. Would have loved to finish that last one out, get another first down. But I think we're at our best when we're balanced and we're able to attack in both ways.
12-2, my man. You've won 7 in a row. Short week into Seattle. Thanks for the chat.
Appreciate it.
Brian O'Neill, right tackle, Minnesota Vikings. That was from the locker room last evening. It was a celebratory locker room, but a lot of tired guys too, off a Monday Night Football game. And now, as they call it in the business, a short week to take on the Seattle Seahawks. I guess their quarterback Geno Smith got himself nicked up a little bit against Green Bay, left the game, and the gunslinger Sam Howell, formerly of the Washington football team, by way of North Carolina, after being quite the ballyhooed high school quarterback. In fact, maybe number one in the country when he went to USC. There's a chance he plays, or maybe it's Geno Smith. The Seahawks are firmly ensconced in the belly of the beast, as the NFC West would go. And the Vikings will finish at Seattle, at home against Green Bay, then at the Detroit Lions. And when it comes to winning the top seed, In the NFC, we know the NFC North is right in front of the Minnesota Vikings. You win your final 3 games and you win the NFC North. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're on quite the heater right now, destroyed Pittsburgh over the weekend, and they have an advantageous finish to their season in the estimation of 9 to noon. And at 9:47 today, a couple of segments from now, we will go over a one and fun segment, taking a look at the Vikings, the Lions, and the Eagles. Maxwell Fuller produces 9 to noon today from the 651 Carpets Plus studios. Nordo is here with yours truly, Paul Allen. And we are at the Minnesota Vikings facility in Eagan after the team has won 7 in a row, 4 KO, 7 in a row, 4 B-Flow, and 7 in a row, 4 Sir Po. Vikes Bites are around the corner. That's followed by One and Fun. Then the scribe, Ben Gessling, who 35 minutes ago tweeted, the Vikings have won 32 of their first 48 games under Kevin O'Connell. In those 32 wins, they've had a total of 22 snaps played by a quarterback they drafted, Jaron Hall, in Green Bay and Atlanta last year. So we'll opine on that and much more with the scribe at about 10:03. Then Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, with the short week upon us, the general manager, will join us at 11 o'clock today in the stead of Kevin O'Connell, and that will be the X's and O's recording at 11 o'clock, and he'll be followed by the analyst Pete Bursich, who was at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, and he will join 9 to noon about 11:30. Thank you very much for listening to 9 to noon and KFAN when you do. The set list is courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. That's what's on deck. 9 to noon at FM 100.3 KFAN.
Head over to NFLshop.com for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family. To shop now, go to NFLshop.com.
Fan. Fun for the entire family. Make your way on down to the XL Energy Center to catch your Minnesota Wild in action. Tickets are still available for upcoming games. Secure your tickets today at wild.com/hockey tickets.
Here come Vikes Bites at FM 100.3 KFAN.
Vikes Bites is always presented by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. And you can shop online. A box of meat shows up at your doorstep. You can go to your local Coburn's locations, local co-ops as well. And they are proud sponsors of Gophers Athletics. We love you, Thousand Hills. We love you, long-time Vox of the Vikings, Paul Allen. We love you, long time. And I'm listening to the call last night, and I'm excited for you to put a stamp on this 30-12 thumping. Mm-hmm. And of course, you played the final call in the opening segment there. But I was curious, what was going on late stages of the game when I heard this?
All right, here we go. Vikings on 3rd down and 11 to go, 2-by-2. Darnold in the gun. Hand off inside. Gonna come up just a little bit short. So we're staring at 4th and 8.
You know, that was a different voice, familiar but different. Pete Bursich typically doing the analysis. I heard Ben Lieber on the sideline as those two conversed for some period of time. I didn't have a stopwatch or anything. I didn't hear you, though. I was just curious. Where was the Vox late stages, 2-minute warning-ish of last night's victory over the Bears?
Well, that it was akin to what Kevin O'Connell did with the Minnesota Vikings defense with 6.5 minutes to go in the game when he put in an array of backups. So on a night where Patrick Peterson joined the broadcast for the third quarter, we figured training Pete Bursich in as play-by-play voice of the Minnesota Vikings could be needed sometime down the road if yours truly gets sick or something like that. And training in Patrick Peterson to potentially fill the void of Pete Bursich. If I'm not able to do the job, then Pete Bursich and Patrick Peterson on the Fan.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Vikes Bites!
Or it was the 2-minute warning. I sprinted to the bathroom, almost knocked Rosie over. Of course, there was a line at the bathroom on our level, like there always is.
And the bottle was full?
No, the bottle was not full, but the Vox box was. We had a packed box last night, pretty much for the entire game. So the utilization of the bottle in the metaphorical blue tent was not available. And Pete got a chance to call the Ty Chandler play.
The Vikes Bites. Speaking of that third quarter, Pat Pete, and he noted it with you guys. I would, and hopefully, as a matter of fact, maybe it's something that Zach, Max, somebody can do back at the station at some point. Is maybe even podcast a portion of that, if that's allowed to do so. NFL rules be damned. Because Patrick Peterson, it was a great conversation between the three of you with Pete and Pat Pete. But how did that happen? He hasn't officially announced his retirement yet, but it was cool to have one of the great all-time corners in this league, now on the backside of his career, to be sure, in the booth with you guys in primetime, talking about football, even getting a bit of analysis from what was happening on the field.
Okay, to connect the dots, Patrick Peterson wants to get into broadcasting. Patrick Peterson is good friends with Harrison Smith. In fact, they're very close. Harrison had Patrick come to the game. Patrick knows a bigwig with Westwood One. Said bigwig wants to see what Patrick sounds like. So the training grounds that are FM 100.3 KFAN and the vast and ever expanding Minnesota Vikings radio network. It's Pat Peterson. Go ahead and sit down with us and do a little analyzing of the game and get something on tape. So that was the metamorphosis.
So just to be certain, Stephon Gilmore not playing last night, the island of Fabian Moreau is not in danger of flooding. Simply it was the innocence of just getting some analyst vibes on tape.
Yeah.
Vikes Bites!
Yep.
Thank you, Thousand Hills.
Beef.
And thank you to my brothers, Tom and Mr. Bonus, and everybody associated with zone coverages. They do zone coverages, Nordo's numbers, each and every week. And he hit me with this number, the number 3, PA. That's Darnold, the offense, and their third down conversions of 10 or more yards. So one of the biggest disparities in last night's game, which was not the most explosive and exciting and entertaining of all time, yet Kevin O'Connell somehow figures out how to put 30 on the board.
Right.
With that said, the team was 7 of 14 on third downs. The Bears were 1 of 12. If you're going to point at one thing in the game that this defense did spectacularly well, to keep those Bears at 1 for 12 on third down, does something pop in your head from last night's game?
Well, first, with the Vikings and the third and longs, they converted a 3rd and 17. Like you said, they were 50% on third down. Ben Lieber was all over the third down and distance for the Minnesota Vikings with some really, really good minutia.
He had a tracker going.
Yeah, he had a third down and long tracker going, and the Vikings kept coming through and with their metaphorical daubers hitting the right number on the bingo card, and it was bingo. Now, from a defensive standpoint, it's an excellent question. I haven't watched the game back yet. The Bears are 30th in the NFL on third down. So they're perpetually bad. And, that can be like, okay, well, they're 30th in the NFL on third down, and they go 1 for 12, 1 for 15 if you want to put those fourth downs in there too. So that's a massive, massive, massive victory for Brian Flores' defense. But the key here at this stage of the season is when you encounter teams who consistently are bad at something and you consistently are good at something, it can't flip.
Right.
Not even once. So the 1 for 12, I guess, could have been a 3 for whatever or a 4 for whatever, but it wasn't. So therefore, let's just remember when the team came back from Soldier Field and they're embarking on 3 consecutive at home. And the first one against Arizona, Gannon's team is taking it to the Vikings in the early stages, and the building is incredibly quiet. Well, they had to push through some things to find a way to victory in that game. They got through that. It was in sluggardly fashion. And then it got better against Atlanta, built an emotion with James. Final home game before you go back on the road against a division rival. And really, when they went up 3-0, they probably weren't going to lose. The Bears are just absolute misfits central right now. And they're also banged up. So The quick twitch answer would be Bears bad on third down, Vikings defense upper echelon. You have to keep your metaphorical boot on the proverbial throat of the bad team, and they did.
Vikes Bites!
Beef.
Thank you, Thousand Hills. You mentioned in the opening segment, so I don't want to double up on it per se, but it does require some more conversation about how patient at times Sam Darnold had to be last night.
Good, because I'm on hour number 2 of trying to figure out the conference tiebreakers in case we win out and Philly wins out. But anyway.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying, no, it's so easy. It's strength of victory, and I'm still trying to figure it out myself. The ESPN playoff machine has the Vikings taking the top spot if they win out, and Philly does as well. So
that has to be right.
Sam Darnold was 24 of 40 last night, 60%. He does have the touchdown to Jefferson, does have the pick on the fourth down play, a lot of pressure in his face, does his backside rollout maneuver, kind of floated a 50-50. In some ways, both Hawkinson and Jefferson were there, but Tyreek Stevenson in the middle on the bullseye spot for that. His yards per attempt, you hit it, 5.8. That's tied for his lowest this season. Now, he was actually 5.8 in that Jets game, which required a bit of patience in its own right.
Yeah.
What did you see at times, whether it was that pressure that I talked about? We saw it a lot early, and some patience and in some ways some smart incompletions from Darnold, specifically early, where he wasn't turning the ball over, but he was in a spot where nobody was open, and he just got rid of it. What did you see the Bears defense doing that led to something we haven't seen a lot this year, PA? It took 40 attempts just to get to 230 yards. The patience was required throughout that game. Does throw the one pick, but I thought for the most part he showed a lot of poise and helped the team win.
Well, I brought it up with Brian O'Neill, and I'm gravy training it from some things Kevin O'Connell said after they beat the Bears in overtime a month ago. And it's what the Bears do at the line of scrimmage right before the snap. Now, they were down their leading sacker, Jervon Dexter Sr., Montez Sweat, clearly got tired of hearing the Chicago media say there are certain players on the Bears who are making business decisions, which kind of has a tinge of tanking it to the claim. And Montez Sweat, you could just tell, wanted nothing to do with that. He absolutely brought it last night. And then you get some guys who were drafted relatively high, and they're getting opportunities to play now, and their legs are fresh. So the tricky nature of what Chicago does at the line of scrimmage, and then they blitzed more than they normally blitz too. I think it caught some members of the Vikings offensive line, specifically on the interior, off guard. The Jones runs for more than 100, but there were some problems inside with that too. So I just think the way the Bears craft a defense and the way they jump around right before the snap, I think it caught Sam the Man on the Fan off guard a little bit. He got away from some sacks, which was cool. 21 yard for a long last night. And speaking of striking down the field, man, Caleb Williams just refuses to throw 50-50 balls. He had that intentional incomplete pass back right of the end zone late in the game.
Yeah.
Single coverage situation. Well, that has to be a 50-50 ball. It has to be, specifically when you're trailing. But, the 280 and change that he's gone now without an interception, you can tell he knows about that. And you can tell it matters to him because he's not overly cautious so that it's costing his team over the totality of a game. I love Caleb Williams, and I think he has the chance to be a star. However, he just, Darnold, he'll throw 50-50 passes, but not as many as I thought at this stage of the equation. Caleb basically never does. And that whole thing played into a lack of striking down the field.
Last thing for you, in Vikes Bites related fashion, the Vikings, it's almost a weekly conversation where, man, how come we weren't running the ball in the first half? Or when things aren't going as smoothly as you'd like, we'll say.
Right.
Or it's, hey, Justin Jefferson wasn't targeted until midway through the second quarter. Well, that was obviously fixed early. He gets the first quarter touchdown.
Yeah.
But in specifics to running the ball, how impressive was it last night where I think, after the 2 3-and-outs, there was almost, and I can't imagine what's going on in Kevin O'Connell's head, but it was clearly, we need to reestablish the run, And that's how we're going to win this game, just by keeping Caleb Williams and the Browns off the field. We have a possession disparity, all of that. The 2 second-half touchdowns being culminated with 1-yard plunges by Aaron Jones, by Cam Akers. The ability to run the ball to victory was apparent in the later stages of the game. You get those 2 touchdown drives, you walk off winners, but I loved seeing the groundwork, specifically late. I know there were some losses, Cam Akers -1, Cam Akers -2, as they're out of timeouts and we're burning clock, but the ground game was working in the second half.
Well, it was working specifically inside the 20 and running inside the red area, the red zone inside the 20. Kevin O'Connell knows, because he's said it either here on X's and O's or after certain games, that running the ball quasi-explosively inside the 20 only helps the passing game. I mean, over the course of nearly 3 years now, the O'Connell-led offense has proven to everybody around the National Football League, if you don't get to the quarterback, then you're going to get beat for 400 passing yards and multiple touchdowns. What about running? Not just running in the course of the game, running at key times on key downs at key spots on the field. That would include inside the 20, and they did that last night, so that was another positive step. Plus, in the red zone, inside the 20, they had 4 opportunities, I believe, and they scored 3 touchdowns. Now, the Chicago Bears came into the game with the 3rd best red zone defense in the NFL, but that thing is plunging fast. San Francisco was in the red zone 6 times last game against the Bears. They got 5 touchdowns. And KO's squad in there 4 times, and they got 3. So that's efficient football by a team that ran it 29 times out of the 63 plays that they ran. So it's still pretty close to that 50-50 split that has been a common thread this season for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, can the Vikings get the number 1 seed in the National Football Conference? We'll analyze that with a One and Fun segment when 9 to noon continues.
Head over to NFLShop.com for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family. To shop now, go to NFLShop.com.
Tune in to 9 to noon every Tuesday as PA and Nordo broadcast live from TCO to talk all things purple. TCO Tuesdays are powered by Suka Manufacturing.
All right, so there is One and Done and 9 to noon's One and Fun. The latter is where the Minnesota Vikings are right now. Win 3 consecutive games, which would be 10 in a row for the Minnesota Vikings, and you win the NFC North. Win 3 consecutive, and then I guess you got to sweat the Philadelphia Eagles schedule and invite Ben Gessling, the learned scribe, into the TCO radio studio to help us navigate our way through tiebreakers throughout the National Football Conference. And getting the 1 seed, I mean, we ain't breaking news here or anything, but getting the 1 seed in the playoffs, holy cow, would that be sweet. I mean, you get a week to decompress, then you get the divisional round at home, and if you win that, you get the NFC title game, and if you win that, obviously the mission is Mardi Gras, which means the team would be still alive in 25. So the Minnesota Vikings are at Seattle. They'll be favored in all 3 of their final games, I believe. Maybe not at Detroit, but we'll see what happens with these Lions and their injuries. But they'll be favored at Seattle, and they'll be favored at home, I believe, against Green Bay. The Lions and Philadelphia each are 12-2. Detroit is at Chicago for its next game, then at the 49ers, a desperate bunch, then the Minnesota Vikings at Ford Field on January 5th. The Philadelphia Eagles are at Washington. They are hosting the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants to finish festivities. Okay. At Washington, then hosting Dallas, and hosting the New York Giants.
So we just go ahead and call them 15-2 then?
No, I mean, beating the Giants is 98.5%. winning at Washington. I don't know what the point spread is. I'd make Philadelphia a 4-point favorite in that game and make you bet the home team. I didn't like what I saw in a lot of facets from Washington at New Orleans against some bunk quarterback play by the New Orleans Saints. And that game got a little dicey, but Washington was able to win it. The Dallas one in the middle is tricky because Dallas will be a non-playoff team, but Dallas is firing bullets right now, and Cooper Rush has settled in pretty sweetly. It's not like going to Charlotte and beating a Carolina Panthers team that A is bad, but B is making life difficult for teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Philadelphia went to Carolina and absolutely handled a team that was playing quite well. So Philadelphia is going great guns at this moment. There doesn't seem to be too much consternation or turmoil following this victory, unlike their most recent victory when A.J. Brown and some others were questioning the validity or potency of the passing attack. They got that thing ready. They got that thing all good, and they've won 1 million in a row. They're 12-2. But Dallas, divisional games. Now, Philadelphia killed Dallas earlier in the season, but Dallas was really, really in a bad spot at that time. Dallas has kind of gotten out of that a little bit. So I think that one's going to be a little trickier than maybe the point spread would indicate. And that is the spot last year where Philadelphia was sailing along quite nicely, and then took a home loss to Arizona in the penultimate. So we'll see what happens there. They can't lose the Giants game, and I think they're going to beat Washington. But the divisional A topic would involve the injuries to the Detroit Lions. I mean, it's sad and ridiculous, the depth of what's taking place with these injuries to the Detroit Lions. They have 22 players on IR, and 12 are done for the season. Some of the noteworthy names, including some that popped up the most recent game when they got whooped by the Buffalo Bills, David Montgomery, who I believe has 12 touchdowns this year, and he had like 12 last year. I mean, Montgomery, the artist formerly known as a running back who pulled a sled when he played for the Chicago Bears, that ain't the case behind that offensive line. But he has some MCL terrorism, and he's going to be lost for the season. Of course, Aiden Hutchinson, one of the 2 or 3 best down linemen from a pass rushing and run stopping standpoint in the National Football League. He was lost for the season into the Vikings game earlier this year. Alex Anzalone, who's a heart and soul guy for the Lions defense, a linebacker, he's also out for the season. Now, Aleem McNeil, the North Carolina State cat, who I think was taken in the 3rd round, and they did a really, really good job finding him. Well, Aleem McNeil ripped up his ACL in this Buffalo game. He's out for the season. Their best cornerback, for my taste at this stage of their careers, is Carlton Davis. Terrion Arnold, the Alabama rookie, a lot of penalties, not necessarily great against the run, probably will end up being their best cornerback, but he ain't now. That's Carlton Davis. He has a fractured jaw. He has a fractured jaw, which means, he has a fractured jaw. So if he was of the trash talking variety, that's not great having a fractured jaw, but he's a pretty good corner too. And he's going to be out for an extended period of time. Michael Badgley, their kicker, just keeps Badgley. He has a hamstring that swoon over his hammy has cost him pretty much the entire season. Jake Bates is the one on the serendipitous side of that situation.
Anzalone's out.
Yep. And their third corner, Khalil Dorsey, he hurt his ankle in the most recent game against Buffalo. He's their third corner. So their best corner, Carlton Davis, dead, fractured jaw. And Khalil Dorsey, their third best corner, he has an ankle, and he's going to be out for a while. 22 players on the IR, 12 done for the season. So it's right in front of the Minnesota Vikings, win 3 consecutive and win the division. And then you get into the tiebreaker situation. If Philadelphia happens to win all 3 and the Minnesota Vikings happen to win all 3, well, the fan has learned they didn't play each other this year. And they're also not in the same division, but they're in the same conference. And the Eagles lost to Kirk O'Chains, a team the Vikings beat. The Eagles beat the LA Rams, a team to whom the Minnesota Vikings lost. So we will navigate our way through that and much more with Ben Gessling, the scribe who covers the Vikings for the Star Tribune, when we return to a Talker Tuesday courtesy of Soukup and soukup.com on KFAN.
You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee. So you say,
"Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?"
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
After Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
"Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music."
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
"Hey, Meta, call Eva."
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, "Hey, Meta," to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smartglasses.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply. The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.